Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ellen Benzine. I'm an account manager with SwipeClock, and I will be conducting the Ask Me Anything hour with ApplicantStack this afternoon. We still have a few folks signing in. We're going to give it another minute or two before we start. So be patient with us and we'll be back shortly. Thank you. All right, it's a couple minutes after the hour. Let's go ahead and get started. Again, as I mentioned previously, my name is Ellen Benzine. I'm an account manager with SwipeClock, and I will be conducting the Ask Me Anything hour this afternoon. With me are Brandon Peterson and Carol Kennedy, also account managers with SwipeClock, supporting ApplicantStack products for the majority of our time. What we're going to discuss today includes ApplicantStack texting and the new texting registration process. So we're going to discuss how ApplicantStack texting works in both recruit and onboarding. We're going to discuss what the difference between basic and premium texting is, and why there is a new texting registration process. And just please note, for those of you who are on the call this afternoon, if texting is already enabled in your account, you do not need to go through this texting registration process. It's for those customers who enable texting for the first time that will need to go through this process that I'm going to discuss and demo. When I was preparing for this Ask Me Anything hour, I found a really great article on Indeed's website. You can see the URL here that discusses how to incorporate a texting process in your recruiting day-to-day activities. And it also includes some information of what you may need to be aware of in texting your hires or candidates, things like limited messaging. It's a great article to read that Indeed discusses, again, how to incorporate texting into your recruiting efforts. We're going to close down the ApplicantStack Ask Me Anything hour with any questions from you all. Those questions can be on anything ApplicantStack recruit and onboarding, and Brandon, Carol, and I will do our best to answer them. All right, texting in ApplicantStack. What the great thing, or one of the many great things about texting from ApplicantStack, is that when you do enable texting, you have an account text number. So ApplicantStack users text from the account number, not their personal cell phone numbers. And you have the ability to send unlimited number of texts in both recruit and onboarding. The text also comes from your company name. So the screenshot that you see there, it says Mike West from Mike Test QA. Mike Test QA would be replaced with your organization's name. So your candidates and your hires know that the text is not spam and it is coming from your organization. Again, as I mentioned, you can text candidates in recruit and you can text hires in onboarding. And a history of all text communication is captured within the candidate record under the History tab. And just to backtrack a little bit, texting is obviously a very quick way to get in touch with your candidates in a very tight labor market. ApplicantStack does have email capabilities as well, but we all have our phones. I mean, mine is 6 inches away from me right now. So again, texting is a quick means to contact candidates and hires. We do offer both basic and premium texting. Basic texting is $35 a month per account, and it allows ApplicantStack users to text candidates and hires, provided they have a mobile phone number in their records. Premium texting is $95 a month and also includes, well, in addition to all of basic texting functionality, It also includes the ability to text at a stage change and to implement text to apply. So let's go ahead and just talk about this information a little bit more. Again, basic texting allows for one-to-one communication with ApplicantStack users and either candidates or hires. However, you can also text in mass. So you can highlight multiple candidate records and text a group of people at one time. And what's really great, if you have message templates in your library, just like when you email candidates and pull in messaging templates, you can access those message templates while texting and pull those templates in so you're not recreating the wheel time and time again. Again, premium texting has all functionality that basic texting has, with the addition of text to apply and automatic text on a stage change. This screenshot simply shows you how easy and efficient it is to text candidates. So you can see that Mary Walker has a phone icon there in her candidate record. You can click the phone icon and initiate the text, or you can navigate to the gray menu on the right and click Text Candidate and start the texting process. All right, why the new registration process? And again, as mentioned previously, this is only for new text for customers who would be enabling texting as a new function. Any customer that has texting now, you do not have to go through the process. You are good to go. But the new registration process is required by providers such as AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon. So the rationale behind this is that there has been a lot of spam across these networks. And again, providers are requiring this texting registration process to ensure all companies are valid organizations. So the registration process can take up to 21 days. If you activate texting, then once the registration process has been completed, you'll receive a message from Twilio. And Twilio is our texting provider. Twilio will let you know the status of the registration process. If you are approved, then texting is automatically activated in your account. If you are not approved, the message from Twilio will let you know that, and will also provide steps to go through to rectify the registration process. And this is just a screenshot. I'm going to show you this in the middle, or in a minute, I should say, of the splash screen that accounts that do not have texting enabled now will see in order to start that registration process. All right, as always, we've got upcoming events. You can see here the next 2 Ask Me Anything hours that have been scheduled. Go ahead and scan that code or the QR code. We are conducting an onboard webinar, as you can see, on March 19th. And there will be links in the chat for not only that onboarding webinar, but also upcoming Ask Me Anything hours. And we also have a hiring survey that we would love your help with. We'd love to hear from you regarding your 2024 hiring thoughts, what your recruiting trends might be. And if you scan the QR code here and complete the survey, we will send you a $5 Starbucks card. So this link will also be in the chat. So if you don't scan the QR code, you still have the ability to complete the survey, which would really help us out. And again, receive that card. All right, the next thing I'd like to do is actually demonstrate some of the things that I just talked about. And what you should see now on my screen, what I'm sharing with you, is what I just showed you in one of the slides. So any account that does not have texting enabled will see this, what we call a splash screen. So it talks a little bit about texting, as you can see, offers a quick and reliable access to candidates. As we all mentioned, that, let me bring that back up again. As we all mentioned, our phones are all quite near us. So again, texting is a quick means to contact your candidates and hires. This splash screen then describes what is included with basic texting, what's included with premium texting, and then any account administrator has the ability to turn on candidate texting by clicking on this button. Here are the texting options. We mentioned earlier that basic texting is $35 a month per account for unlimited texts, and premium texting is $95 a month per account for unlimited texts. So your ApplicantStack administrator can choose either get basic texting or get premium texting. Regardless, this registration web form will come up. So this is what the carriers, again, AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile, are requiring for all accounts, ApplicantStack accounts that have texting, but it really spans all industries as well, not only ours. So the carriers are requiring organizational information, company information, as you can see here. And it's really basic company information, but it is critical that you input this information correctly. It also includes contact information. So once you've input this information and click on the next button, you'll have the ability to review the information that you've input, and then you can submit this information. And when done, that registration process will kick off. And then again, you'll hear from Twilio as to whether or not your registration has been approved or declined. And again, if declined, they will provide steps to take in order to go through the registration process again, correct any errors, and hopefully then get approved. So the registration process is very quick, but again, it's very important to input this information correctly the first time. Once approved, texting will be activated in your ApplicantStack account. So for those of you who are not familiar with texting, this is my demo account. So it's going to look a little bit different than your accounts because ApplicantStack is so configurable, you can modify the account to suit your particular recruiting requirements. My demo account does have premium texting, which again allows for basic texting and then those two additional functions, which I'm going to demonstrate for you now. So this is my ApplicantStack Recruit homepage. I'm going to move across to the Candidates tab. And when you enable texting, you have an additional column here on your candidates table. It's in P up there, which means that you do have texting, that stands for phone, and you can see that there is an icon next to all candidate records that have a cell phone, mobile phone as part of the candidate record. So for David Jones, if I wanted to text him, I can just click on this icon and you'll see that a pop-up comes up. And as I was talking earlier, you can select a template from your library. So your library would include not only email templates, but can also include text messaging templates. You can choose whatever template you desire, if you desire. You can input a quick text message. And look, you can also include a questionnaire as part of your text message. So if you've vetted a candidate and you now want them to complete an employment application, you can include that, or you can include any other questionnaire requesting additional information from your candidates. Once you send this off, the text message will be captured in the candidate record under the History tab. So if I click on David Jones's candidate record, I move from the summary page to the History tab. You'll see all history, a complete audit trail of interaction with David, but then I can filter on texts and only texts will show at this point. Moving back to the candidates table, basic texting also includes texting in maps. So I can highlight multiple records here. of individuals that I want to text. Navigate to the gray menu on the right. I can choose Text Candidate, and you'll see a same pop-up or a similar pop-up come up. You can see who is getting the text. Again, you could select a template, a messaging template if you would like, so you're not recreating that same content every time. You can create an additional text message here if you need to, and again, include a questionnaire. So again, texting en masse is very similar to texting just a single individual. That is basic texting. And again, I do have premium texting in my account. So let me just share those two features that premium texting includes above and beyond what basic texting is included as well. I am signed into my account as an ApplicantStack administrator. So I'm going to click on my picture in the upper right-hand corner. And from the drop-down, I'm going to click on Setup. I'm going to navigate to the blue menu on the left, and I want to choose Configure, because what I'm about to show you is how to trigger a text on a stage change. So I want to click on my application workflow. I'm going to access my default application workflow, and this, or what you see now, are the stages of my recruit workflow that you see on your homepage. So you can see the new stage when a candidate successfully applies, an email is triggered. Managers can obviously review candidates, but you'll notice when a candidate moves to the phone screen stage, not only are they going to get an email that's triggered, but they're also going to get a text. So for example, in the phone screen stage, you really might want to get in touch with a contact or with a candidate very, very quickly. And we all know that we respond faster to texts than emails, and it's something like 90% faster. But if you want to schedule a phone screen, you want to get in touch with that candidate very quickly. So you can see that this text message says, hey, I'd like to talk with you. Please provide some dates and times. Continuing on with that process, you can see that I've also triggered not only emails, but also texts when a candidate moves to the interview stage. Those messages can be identical or they can be different. In this case, you can see that I've asked the candidate to complete an employment application and EEOC information. So you can modify your ApplicantStack recruit workflow to trigger texts once again if you have premium texting. The other function that comes with premium texting is that text to apply feature that I discussed very briefly earlier. I'm going to move from my home page to my jobs tab. And I'm going to click on the accounting manager opportunity. I'm going to move from the summary tab over to the launch tab. And you can see text to apply is enabled in my account. So the premise behind text to apply is it's a proactive means of reaching candidates. So if you've got a social media campaign, if you've got a marketing campaign, if you're a brick and mortar or a retail opportunity, maybe you've got some sort of information within your organization or within your location as to how to apply for jobs. So what you can do is you can include not only the account phone number, the account text number in your marketing or social campaigns or your email distribution lists, include a text code word, which in this case is accountant, and any individual that chooses to text your account phone number with, in this case, the text code word accountant, will then get an immediate response with a link to click to start your application process. So again, I call it kind of a proactive means of finding individuals out there. Maybe they're passive candidates, but they have the ability to start your initial application process immediately once they text the code word, in this case, accountant. And again, that's a great function that's part of premium texting. The final thing that I just want to share with you before opening up for questions and answers is that if you do have texting enabled, you will see a conversation bubble in the upper right-hand corner of your ApplicantStack screen. And you can have a quick view of your texting. This is my text account, so you can see there's some testing going on here. But you do have a quick view of texting messages. But again, all correspondence, texting or email, will be under the History tab of the candidate. So I've been talking about texting here in my Recruit side of things. Do know that if you have onboarding and you toggle to onboarding, very similar, I can move over to the Hires tab here in onboarding, and you'll see those individuals that have cell phone numbers in my Hires table. I can do the same thing as I did in Recruit, and that is either text individually or text in mass. So again, it's very similar in onboarding as it is in Recruit to be able to contact your hires just as quickly as you may want to contact candidates in Recruit. All right, so that is the overview of texting, both basic and premium, and the overview of the registration process for those of you who might want to activate texting in the future. Again, those of you who have texting now, you do not need to worry about the new registration process. All right, Carol and Brandon are here to help me this afternoon with any questions that might be submitted. Carol and Brandon, do you think I have missed anything? Should I add anything?
No, I think you covered it really well. And we do have a question that's already come through.
Okay.
And that is, do you have to have a mobile phone account?
So for texting, yes, you absolutely need a cell phone in order for ApplicantStack users to text from the account to candidates and hires.
The receiver has to have a cell phone, right?
Correct. Uh-huh.
The ApplicantStack team, the ApplicantStack users in the business just text from within ApplicantStack, not from their own cell phone.
Absolutely correct. Yep. So it's an ApplicantStack text phone number that ApplicantStack users can text from. So it's not their personal cell phones. Correct, Brandon.
Great. All right, another question that's come through here is our own phone number, or have the phone number match what our existing business phone number is.
Okay, so if you activate texting, a toll-free number will be assigned to you. So you don't necessarily, or you don't have a choice to choose what your texting phone number will be. It'll be a toll-free number. But do remember that when you text candidates and hires, the text will come from your organization name so that they know the text is not spam or phishing. It is actually coming from an ApplicantStack user from your company.
Okay, it looks like Patty asked a follow-up question about having a requirement of a mobile phone. She further explains that we only have an office phone number, landline. So I think there's some confusion there.
Yeah, okay. So let me backtrack here a little bit. Once you activate texting, you don't use that landline. You use ApplicantStack software in order to text your candidates. So again, I'm here in my demo account. And if I move over to the Candidates tab, Patty, you can see that these individuals have a cell phone icon associated with their candidate record. So let me click into David Jones here. And you can see that he has a cell phone number here. So if I want to text David, I can click on the cell phone icon directly and start my communication. Or I can come over to the gray menu on the right and choose text candidate from the gray menu on the right. So you're initiating the text from ApplicantStack software using the toll-free number that has been assigned to your account once you enable texting. So no landline is necessary. It's all from within ApplicantStack software. And again, the beauty of that is that all correspondence is captured within the history of the candidate tab, so you have an audit trail as well.
Okay, great, thank you. The next question is, she asked for further clarification. She was curious about this because you said that your phone carrier, AT&T or T-Mobile, had to approve it. So what that's about, Patty, is that Twilio is the service provider. So if you have a cell phone with AT&T or T-Mobile, AT&T or T-Mobile will be your service provider. Twilio is a service provider for text messages for businesses. And so they don't, that's the service that ApplicantStack is using to send these text messages. And we require the registration information in order to limit the amount of fraud that's taking place with these numbers. So again, you don't need another cell phone for this to work. You just do it from within ApplicantStack.
Thanks, Brandon.
Okay, another question is, do you offer a free trial for texting?
You know, we do not offer a free trial because the cost of texting is minimal. So what I would suggest is that you activate texting and use it and see how great a feature it is. And I don't think you'll want to live without it once you see how quickly you can contact candidates and hires. If for any reason you don't want texting, you can always cancel it. But to answer your question outright, no, we don't offer a trial.
Okay, the next question is $35 is it $35 for each business account or per user?
Okay, so that's a great question because this feature is a bargain, like I just said. For basic texting, it's $35 a month per account. That allows all ApplicantStack users to text candidates and hires if you have onboarding, and it allows for unlimited texting. So real life example here is I was talking with one of my customers who has Recruit and texting already enabled, and they have basic texting. It's $35 a month. They're adding onboarding. And so my customer said, okay, so how much will texting be when I add onboarding? And I said, you know what? It's still the same. It's still $35 a month per account for all ApplicantStack users to be able to text and unlimited texts. So I kind of expanded on your question a little bit with my answer. But again, I hope I answered your question.
All right, the next question is, will you show the slide again with the differences between basic and premium texting, what you get for either?
Sure. Let me. Oh, you know what? I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. Let me go back here because this is what you'd see in your account. So there's a couple ways to show you. This is the splash screen that I was referring to earlier, or that we discussed earlier. And any ApplicantStack admin can turn on candidate texting. This is maybe what you were talking about. So if you want to take a screen or you want to take a picture of that, this is also in your accounts that your admins can access as well.
Okay. When we click the activate texting, we get a message that says you do not have access to this page.
Okay.
Patty, I'm assuming, I'm going to make an assumption and go out on a limb here that you are with Home instead. And if that's the case, just put in a support ticket, please, expressing your interest to activate texting, and I can help you with that. There are some special configurations for Home instead accounts that prohibit you from being able to activate that on your own.
And Brandon, if Patty is not from Home instead, it may be that well, only account admins can activate texting. So if for any reason you're an ApplicantStack recruiter or a hiring manager, you don't have the ability to enable texting.
Okay. Yeah, she confirmed it was Home instead. Okay.
Okay, excellent. What other questions do we have?
Another question is, how many people can we text at once? How many people does ApplicantStack allow us to text at once?
You know, I don't know that there's a limit, but with both basic and premium texting, you can text in mass. So again, this is just my candidates table. You can highlight a number of individuals. And again, I don't know that there's an actual limit to do so.
I do believe there is a limit. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some restrictions there so that it's not used for spamming people.
Yes, definitely. Which again is one of the reasons why the new registration process is being implemented. It might depend on the number of people and the length of the text message itself, as well as whether or not you've included any questionnaires. So that just might be trial and error in sending out texts and figuring that out on your end. But you know what we can do? I can submit a ticket and just see if we can give you more information on any sort of texting limitations.
Okay. All right, I don't see any other questions at this point.
All right, just in case some are straggling in, let me just go to my ApplicantStack homepage again. And I just want to make you aware of this announcements panel. So you can register, and maybe you've done so via the announcements panel for our onboarding webinar, which is scheduled on March 19th, recruit webinar on April 16th, and then you have the ability to sign up for those future AMAs as well. The other thing is, Allie from our marketing department writes great blogs about hiring trends, onboarding, communicating with your candidates, just a variety of really great topics. And you can click and read those blogs by clicking on the URL. And you can see Allie's great work here and maybe glean some great information from some of her blogs.
Ellen, I do stand corrected. Your initial answer was correct. There is no limit on how many candidates you can text at once.
Okay.
I think my misunderstanding came from conversations I heard that there was something in the works to limit that, but our team is just watching that to see if it gets abused, and if it does, they may need to implement some kind of cap. But as it stands now, there is no limit to the amount of candidates you can text at once.
Oh, great. Excellent. Thank you, Brandon. All right. Can you think of anything I've missed, Carol and Brandon, or are there any other questions coming in?
The only question I would have would be premium texting. What is best practice for making your candidates aware that that's an option, or how do they actually get that ability to apply via text?
So the text to apply feature?
Right. So how would that be an email? Would you have a sign posted somewhere? How does that work?
Yeah. So it works in a couple different ways, both of which that you just described would work. So again, if you give a certain job a text code word, and again, in this case, for my accounting manager opportunity, my code word is accountant, and my texting phone number, my account texting phone number is what I've just highlighted there. You need to share that information with people some way, somehow. So sometimes you'll go to a retail store and you'll see a big poster on a stand outside that says, "We need customer service reps. Text this number with the code word customer service reps." And what happens then is that you get an immediate response. And it's very similar with ApplicantStack. So you need to share your account phone number. You need to share the text code word, whether it be on a stand, whether it be a flyer in your store, a social media campaign, posted on your LinkedIn company page. Some way you need to share that information. But the beauty of this is you are being proactive. You're casting a wide net saying, "Hey folks, we need an accountant. Text here." And once done, those individuals will get a response that includes a link which allows them to apply for the opportunity. So yeah, somehow, some way you need to share the information. So it could be, as you said, an email distribution list as well, Carol. Anything else to add there?
Yeah, I would just second your comments, Ellen, that it's very handy in the physical space when you're advertising with posters or sandwich boards on the sidewalk or vinyl lettering on the back of a car, things like that. It's very convenient to put that phone number and then the code word for people to be able to access later. Another way I've seen it used is it can be very helpful with employee referral campaigns. So if you want to, say, for example, do a campaign and invite your current employees to refer their friends or family to come work for you, it's often a lot easier to distribute to them that texting number plus the code word versus a URL or a web address, because web addresses often get truncated or chopped off at the end. The links might not work, and so distributing the phone number plus the code word can be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And it's just a really great means of proactive recruiting. And as we mentioned in the prior AMA, 2024 is supposed to be a really great year for recruiting, not only creating and hiring for new positions, but also backfilling. So again, proactive recruiting is key, and Text to Apply can help you with that.
One more question that comes in is what happens if somebody tries to call back that texting number and place a phone call to that business through that number?
I bet it wouldn't go through.
Yeah, I can help with that. I think there is a message that says it's unavailable or something like that. So make sure when you distribute that phone number that it's clear that it is just for texting. It's not your new business number, for example.
Right. And then, of course, if you initiate the text, typically people would respond to a text as opposed to calling the number back.
True.
Yeah. So to answer your question, it wouldn't go through. And,
Right.
and I'm saying that, and I'm kind of thinking at the same time. Good question. It's making us think.
Well, I think that's everything.
All right. Well, as always, we hope that this Ask Me Anything hour has been beneficial, that you've picked up a tidbit. If after we hang up and you think, "Oh my gosh, I should have asked this question. What did Ellen say? What did Brandon say?" You have resources. So what you can do is you can access our technical support center via the white question mark in the upper right-hand corner. And then from the drop down, ask a question. If you complete the template here, you'll get a response directly from one of our stellar technical support reps. From this drop-down, you also have access to our online help center, which is obviously 24/7. So if you click Help Center, you can input the topic of interest in the search bubble, and videos and articles will then show that you can then access. And then, of course, you do have account managers, and we are more than willing to help you. The best way to get in touch with us is through the white question mark, submitting a ticket, and then your question will be routed to the appropriate account manager. So speaking of account managers, Carol and Brandon, thanks very much for joining me this afternoon. Any questions happen to come in, Brandon?
Well, I just wanted to make one clarifying point. I did get a little bit of feedback here.
Okay.
To be clear, these texting numbers that you are issued when you sign up for texting, they're only set up for text messages. They will not work as voice numbers. So
Correct.
if anybody tries to call you through that number, it's not going to work.
Great. Okay. So again, I hope this was beneficial to you. We're more than happy to answer any ApplicantStack questions in general. Again, by those means of submitting a ticket, accessing your help center. We look forward to seeing you all on future webinars. I think you're going to get a survey, and we do appreciate you not only completing the 2024 hiring trends survey, and if you do so once again, you'll get a $5 gift card from Starbucks. But if you get a general survey, please complete that as well, because it helps us with future AMA topics and how we can assist you in using your ApplicantStack account to its full. So again, thank you all, and certainly enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye now.